We've been talking a little bit on the show in the past how I've been exploring crystals because it's something that I didn't really know much about. I kind of felt like crystals were just pretty rocks. And we've talked about this. And I was at a healing centre called Shambhala in Port Melbourne, and I was getting amazing reflexology treatment by Stan, and he's a co-owner there, and he was talking to me about liquid crystals. And, as far as I understand, crystals are... I obviously don't know much about them, but they have an energy, and a lot of people who decide to wear them or use them feel as though that they have some sort of presence that affects them in a positive way. And so I was quite intrigued when Stan was telling me about liquid crystals. And so I invited him today to talk to us about it. So welcome to Simply Wellbeing, Stan.
Thank you very much, Bryony.
I suppose the first question for me is what are obviously liquid crystals firstly, but also what's the difference between them and, say, people who use crystals physically, they have them in their jewellery or whatever?
Sure, that's a pretty good question because everybody looks at liquid crystals and thinks they're just a crystal that's been put into liquid.
Mm-hmm.
They're a lot more than that. They're essentially energy in a bottle. So as human beings, we're energy.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in the universe is energy.
Yes.
And as a human being, we need minerals to actually function correctly, to stay healthy, to manifest in the world that we want to manifest.
Mm-hmm.
Crystals are just minerals. They're just same as us. They're actually a living being, but they're in a particular structure, a geometric structure. So in terms of taking the liquid crystal, we just take the energy in. We take the energetic version of the mineral into our bodies so that we can function as a wholesome human being. Otherwise, we take minerals in through our food and through our supplements.
Okay.
So that's essentially the difference between a solid crystal and a liquid crystal is essentially that. We embody that energy rather than hold it in our hands so we can have an experience of it.
Is it a little bit like homeopathy? Is it the same?
It's taken the same way, but it's completely different to homeopathy.
Mm-hmm. Is it an actual part of a crystal that you take in you?
You don't actually take any part of the crystal, you take the energetic component of the crystal.
Okay.
So the crystals are formed through a sacred process.
Mm-hmm.
The creator's name is Justin Moikiha Assar. He has created the liquid crystals in a pretty unique way, and it's Atlantean-based, and it deals with sacred geometry and also alchemical science.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pretty old sciences that he uses to make these crystals up.
And it's quite a spiritual component to it, isn't it?
It's all spiritual.
Yeah.
Everything's spiritual, but we bring that spirit down into the real world so that we can work with it. That's the most important part about it.
And how do you choose what crystals we take? Because I know that people can walk into a crystal shop and say, I feel like that one, and that's the one they're attracted to. Mm. How does it work with liquid crystals?
Well, it's interesting. With liquid crystals, a lot of people get drawn to them just by their colour of the crystal. Mm-hmm. So if you choose a physical crystal that you like the colour of, more than likely you need the minerals that are in that crystal.
Right.
If you walk into a shop and you pick up a crystal and you actually get an energy from the crystal and you feel it, well, you don't actually need it because your body already recognises that energy and says, hi, I'm here. I recognise you. So you put it down. When you pick up a crystal that doesn't have any energetic component or feeling to it, you kind of go, well, that crystal's a bit dead. That's the one you need.
Really?
Because that's the one you're not aware of yet. That's the energy you're not aware of yet.
I thought it'd be the opposite.
Yeah, everybody thinks that way. That's right. But when it's a bit like you see your friend and you recognise them and you wave to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of those energies you've seen before. But if you see a person that you don't know, you don't wave to them. It's that kind of... It's kind of them saying hello and you recognising it. Yeah.
So is it like, the exercise that you find the hardest is the one that you need, and the one that you find easiest, you should be concentrating on what's harder for you? Is that kind of... Not
necessarily. You're really much drawn to what it is you need in life. It's just a matter of being aware of what you're being drawn to. People have different understandings of what they're learning in life. Some people use crystals, they use solid crystals, they use liquid crystals, they use different modalities. But the most important thing is the reason behind using that tool, because these are really just tools. They help us to make experiences, to help us to have experiences. They help us to grow and change. If we know what we're changing within ourselves, we become aware of it, that means then we're in control of our lives. But when we pick up something, a crystal, or we have an interaction with an energy that we are unsure about, we kind of go, well, why has that appeared in my life? So we're unable to change it or we're unable to grasp it. So we look for tools to help us with that. This is one of the tools that we use.
Okay, so these help us when we're stuck in certain patterns and we want to change in some way?
That's one of the ways they help. Yeah, they can help you with personal growth as well. They can help you with spiritual growth. Just depends on which way you want to go.
Okay, and I know that there's an aspect that you can choose by your own name.
Absolutely. It's interesting because crystals and basically every energy in the universe vibrates at a certain frequency. But everything has its own unique frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So as a person, we have our own unique frequency, which is made up of our culture, made up of our beliefs, made up of our parents and our peers. It all combines together within us to create a unique energy. In terms of the liquid crystals, they also have a unique energy. We know what these crystals mean, so we can actually utilise that energy for the crystal to give us the opportunity to open ourselves up to different experiences, to have different learnings, to actually know what we're doing rather than just guessing.
Because I know you do choose with the names. Does that mean, say, Fiona and I both our names were Fiona, does that mean we're on the same life path?
Oh, sorry, I did kind of digress from the question. In terms of us, our first given name is our first frequency of unconditional love that we feel in the world, in the real world. Mm-hmm. So when we're given a name, names are very, very powerful because in terms of numerology, they can be converted to a number. Numerology is a pretty powerful tool for life path work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, two Fionas, yes, you have the same crystals, but you both walk a different path because you both have different belief systems, you both have different upbringings, you both have different cultures. Even if you come from the same family, you both have different paths that you're walking. You may experience similar experiences, but the way you deal with them will be different, and the different aspects of yourself that you deal with will be different. So there can be a lot of Davids in the world, but each of them will have a different experience. There could be lots of Stans in the world, and each of them will have a different experience of those frequencies. The crystals just tell us which frequencies we're working with, that's all.
But they still have a similar, because I was looking on the Liquid Crystal website, you have a similar life path and crystal body, and is that correct?
In essence, yes. You still have a similar vibration that you actually work with and you represent, but that's a small part of your whole life process, because your whole life process is all about how you function in the world and what you do in the world and how you interact with people and the world itself. And the crystalline energy component of it is a governing factor, but it's not the only governing factor.
Okay. Is there anything else, because we've only got a few minutes left, that you'd like to enlighten us with about liquid crystals?
Well, we call them change facilitators. The difference between a liquid crystal and a solid crystal is that it's a bit like hooking into the planetary internet of crystals when you use a liquid crystal. The way that they're made is the liquid crystal actually represents the planetary aspect of that crystal. So if I was to take an amethyst and give you a liquid crystal amethyst, the way that those crystals are made is that wherever amethyst appears on the planet, in every deposit, there was a sample taken and brought and put together in one place. And a crystal was created, or crystalline energy was created from all those crystals. If I picked up an amethyst crystal from Australia, I could use it on a certain part of the body, but it wouldn't work on other parts of the body. But if I picked up an amethyst from Brazil, it's still an amethyst, and it works on a different part of the body.
Okay.
The liquid crystals, in the sense, are truly holistic because they take on the planetary aspect of the crystal, and we use the whole planetary aspect of the crystalline energy.
Wow, so they've sort of gotten crystals from all over the world and combined them.
To give you an idea, 16,834 pieces of clear quartz were brought together to create liquid crystal clear quartz.
Wow.
Because that's how prevalent liquid clear quartz is on the planet.
Okay, it was some really interesting information. We're going to have to go to a song in a minute. If people want to find out more information about you, they can just look in the Shambhala website.
www.shambhalacentre.com.au, or if they want to find some more information about the liquid crystals, it's www.theliquidcrystals.com.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Thank you, Bryony.